Good evening, everyone. This is Steve Carver. I'm in Dunn, North Carolina, sharing with you information tonight about red flags and pivotal points that are really important for new small business owners. They're really important for all small business owners, but because I've been in business for 65 years and a lot of y'all are just starting in business, I'm happy to share with you some thoughts and ideas. And most of this is, I've developed it absolutely myself and from experience. I'm glad to talk with you about these points because they're so important. My name is Steve Carver. I'm in Dunn, North Carolina. This is my presentation number 1099, and I appreciate you joining me on my entrepreneurial trip and letting me be a part of yours. It's an honor to serve you. Let me invite you to find me on Facebook. Just type in Steve Carver or Anthony Stephen Carver, and when you see the scene there with all the fall leaves on it, that would be the right one, because like on Facebook, there's a whole lot of people got the same name. But I invite you to like me there, then I can see what you've got going on in your business and monitor and help you promote it as much as I can. I'm not a lawyer or a CPA, just a fellow that's been in business a long time, 64 years as a matter of fact, since I was 12 years old, and glad to share with you lots of information. General information tonight mainly, but always one of the first pieces of advice I'll tell you is before you make a big decision in your company or future, get a second or third opinion from someone that's got some sense and knows about what you're talking about. And one of the very best places you can get advice and counseling and free good information is from your community college small business center. That's in North Carolina anyway. I'm not sure about other states having this. But we're being sponsored tonight by the Small Business Center over at Kenansville, North Carolina, James Front Community College, the Small Business Center there. And Joey Wynn is the director, and she is doing a bang-up great job serving new entrepreneurs and established businesses as well over in the Dublin County area. So if you're in that region, give Joy a call. Her office is actually in Warsaw, but give her a call. And if you want an introductory letter or that, just send me an email, and I'll help get you in touch with them. If you're anywhere else in North Carolina but not near Kenansville, and you'd like to talk with your local small business center, just send me a note, and I'll do the same for you. I'll find out the closest one to you and put you all together. Excuse me. So tonight, December 6th, we're talking about red flags and pivot points. Tomorrow afternoon, if you're available for an afternoon event at 2 p.m., I'll be giving a webinar on pricing strategies. And this is going to go much deeper into how to set up your pricing and the logic behind it and different ideas and to help more customers find your pricing attractive and do business with you. So that's tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m., the same sign-on information you got here. And then on Monday, the 11th, next Monday, we'll be finishing up the year's work with a 5 p.m. webinar on how to turn your hobby into a business, different points that would help you do that. Then we'll be taking a break all the way through the holidays to January 11. And on January 11, on Thursday night, we'll crank up a brand new 7-part series, 14-hour course on I'm going to start my business in 2024. And that'll go through the whole range of different items with information that you need to start a business. So go ahead and plan on that if you want to make a New Year's resolution to let that do it for you. Man, this cough is really something. It'll go and come, so please forgive me. Handouts that you got emailed already, or if you haven't been signed in and got your email, I'll be glad to send it to you. Just one on this one, but it's a long one. There's a lot of information in there, so you may want to save it. And then I'll be developing a quiz for the last 5 parts of this series. There'll be a probably about 20 questions that I'll send to you, and invite you to send it back if you'd like to know what the quiz questions would be. I'll send you a quiz that has the answers, and then I'll send you one with blank and ask you just to fill in the answers and send them back to me. That way I know that you are exposed to the right information. Tomorrow, you will probably get an email from the Network Center in Raleigh, of the Small Business Centers, asking you to evaluate our series and my presentations. I appreciate you filling it out and sending it right on back into them. They need that for monitoring purposes, to see how I'm doing and to see what your needs are with future webinars. Thank you all for attending so far. I've been keeping a record of attendance, and I'm so glad that you're here, and we are especially lucky tonight. I see that Annette is with us, as well as LaToya. LaToya is with tonight, we'll have a 100% attendance record in this course, so congratulations, LaToya. And Annette, with her attendance tonight, she'll qualify for 4 out of 5. So both of y'all are automatically qualifying for your certificates of achievement, and I certainly appreciate your efforts. All the rest of you, I'll keep up with these, and if you want to make up any in the future, just let me know. I'll give you credit for them. Let's pay some special attention. We've been running 2 series now for about 2 months with the folks that have really been active and moved forward. Annette, congratulations for your work and getting your business closer to getting started. Last night we were able to brag on you. I'll do it some more tonight. If you need a virtual bookkeeper, give Annette a chance to give you some business. And I can certainly give you her contact information where you can ask for it on chat and get it from her there. LaToya is working hard to get her new business up and running. She's putting information out on Facebook and finding confidence with her customers. So congratulations, LaToya. Karika in Roanoke Rapids is doing a good job as well. Excuse me, getting her business running, as is Katina Cooper in Rocky Mount. So got a lot going on. Darcy is getting ready to open up her florist in Raleigh. And when she's ready, we're really going to start helping try to send her some business. So congratulations to Darcy. She's been really active the last 2 months. Tim's been with us on a regular basis. Looks like he's with us tonight again. Hi, Tim. Glad to have you on board. Thank you for all your contributions and good conversation. And I hope things go well with you with Legal Shield or whatever other pursuits that you have got going on. Regina, we has had a tough time with her dad has been sick, but she's back with us tonight, and so happy that's the case. So, I mean, she's back with us last night and told us that her dad was doing a lot better, so we're glad to hear that. But we'll keep praying for him to have a fast recovery, and she'll be back with us next year to start another series, I'm sure. The comments tonight are about red flags and the pivotal points in business. A lot of us, like this picture, always feel like we got worry clouds in front of us. There's so much to worry about in our business, and I understand that right with you in that having been in business for 64 years, we get worried sometimes. Right now, I'm going through about a 6-week period of really low retail sales, and it's an annual thing, and I shouldn't be worried about it because I got a great marketing campaign, and I'm getting some business in every day. But it's just not that as high a volume as we like to have, of course. So worry is a part of the nature of an entrepreneur. And you know what that does? It motivates us, because when we're motivated and we got a good marketing plan, and we're working hard to make things happen in a positive way, we will indeed be a lot better off. That's some background noise I'm working on. Here we go. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit around and worry, or we're going to do something about it? Tonight's presentation are things that you can do about it, and hopefully to get them fixed before serious damage is going to be done to your business, because this is the kind of sky that we want. We want blue sky and sun rays coming through it and feeling real good about our business and our future. And I will assure you right now, that the things we're going to talk about tonight will go a long way towards helping you get there. Red flags, that's just a signal, things that are being, how we are being signaled that that we need to watch out. There's something going on that we need to be aware of. And as we go through all the things we've talked about in our previous series this fall, we're going to talk about them tonight as if we have been in business a while and we're starting to see the results and things that have happened, things to be concerned about. And I wanted to share that with you so you'll have that as a part of your DNA base about being an entrepreneur. Usually more small businesses will fail each year than are started. So that automatically tells me there's something wrong somewhere with a lot of people, because a lot of small businesses start and maybe half to 3/4 of them will fail within just a few years. Usually the problem there relates to collateral and credit history. Not having enough of either one of them to be able to secure a good loan or create enough money to finance your business, and therefore we personally financed a venture and put everything that we own on the line, put it on the line. And so when we're trying to stay in business, it's not a fun thing, it's not a game thing, it's not something somebody else has to do. If it's our money and it's our home on the line, or our a savings account for our children's education or your retirement, that gets really serious. And serious automatically with old Steve over here means survival. So we take it very seriously, and I do. As I'm teaching these courses for y'all, I want you always to remember this isn't something I read a book about. I live this, and more times than not, more than 100 times, I found myself in the last 64 years worried about if I was going to lose my home or lose my savings or lose my credit reputation or lose my customers. And all that will come into play with you as you get started in your business if it's something where you're having to finance or borrow a lot of money according to the nature of the business. But I want to assure you again, as I talked to you back in week 3, if you've got a good structured marketing plan and a decent group of profit centers of things that you're selling or offering, you are probably going to be all right if you stay with that marketing plan and stay dedicated, and don't be lazy. Don't think things are going to happen by themselves, because that is just not what's going to go on. You have got to stay with it and to survive, and I want us all to survive. What we want to do, we want to know how soon can you tell that your business is in trouble. Y'all just getting started, so you don't know what trouble is yet, other than trying to get it up and running. But once you do get running, you want to know when something's going on, and that's what it's all about, looking for the red flags. So history will teach us that a consistent loss of revenue, that is losing money day after day or month after month, has got to be fixed in a hurry. You just can't keep doing that. You just can't keep funding it out of your personal funds or your savings account. There has to be a plan to how we're going to fix this to make it better, to make it profitable, to end up with black ink. And the answer here is having a business plan, and actually work out how much income you expect to get from your different profit centers, and match that up with how much your expenses are. So a business plan is really needed. And if you just feel lost or you're not equipped, ready to get on this journey, I want to tell you that your small business centers are indeed the place to go to get real help right now. They are there, they get paid to help you, and look forward to hearing from you. So just as I do, they hire me to try to help you, and I'll try to send them all of your customers I can. And of course, you're always welcome to send me questions, and I'll share with you study guides out the yin yang and tell you all that I can, or put you in touch with someone else. But let's be very clear now. Everyone makes mistakes, and you are going to make mistakes just like I do. All of us are going to slip sometime. That don't mean we're going to backslide, but we can slip and fall down, because nobody's perfect and no one is right all the time, and especially Steve Carver. You know, with all the talking that I do week after week and month after month, I'm bound to say some things that from time to time that aren't exactly right, whether I mean to or not. So all of us are not right all the time. Therefore, we all can learn something, make changes to make it work. I certainly know that, and I have to make changes every day. Every business day, there's an opportunity to do something better. But we should learn from our errors. We really shouldn't have to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And the way that you don't keep doing that is putting up these red flags for yourself and to be able to recognize them. Because I want you to have savvy. I want you to have business savvy and wisdom. And you learn that and you earn that by staying busy and staying with it and having the endurance to stay in the race. That's why I say that night after night. Stay in the race. And you, AJ, and LaToya, and Edna, y'all will achieve business savvy and wisdom in time. But the key is staying in the game so that you can do that. When you talk with people that have retired from different careers, like Tim that's been with us a number of times, he's with us tonight, you learn things and you hold on to them and you keep making them work for you. But I'll tell you this, the bigger your business gets, the busier you are, the more mistakes you're going to make. That's just going to be part of it. And don't be ashamed of it, don't be afraid of it, but let's just be clear, we don't want to do it, but when we do, let's figure out ways to make it work. So let me share with you a few tips. Your staying power. Your staying power, that is the ability to stay in business, has a lot to do with not only what you're doing and your business skills, but a lot to do with the products and services that you're offering, of course. And having a diversified mix of different things is going to be important for you to be able to stay in business for the long term. Staying power has a definite point that you want to have a good selection of things that people want and a good selection of things that people need, and for those to be related in such a way that you can do upsells with your different products. That'll give you real staying power that otherwise you won't be able to do that. So think about your different profit centers, and through the series we've learned that we want to have at least 5 profit centers in our business and have at least one each of products that create new business and new customers, that create repeat business and impulse buying at higher margin. And we want to have some profit centers that help us have some big ticket items sometime. So there's a mix there, a diversity we want to have. But maybe you're already in business or trying to get started, and what seems to be happening is your cash flow is just stuck in reverse. You're working hard and you're selling some stuff and you're generating some income, but your expenses are outrunning your income, and therefore cash flow is just going the wrong way. It's all red ink. And that will happen sometimes. I've experienced negative cash flow now for the last 7 weeks, I would say. I'm convinced we're going to come out of it just fine. I had some reserves built up for it because this is an annual thing. So after you've been in business a while, you learn to forecast these things are going to happen and prepare for them. But what are the causes of cash flow problems that maybe you can address right now or that you want to remember in the future? Mostly the word is forecasting where it's cash flow problems. That is, we didn't forecast that these problems were coming. Now we're faced with not enough cash to buy our way out of it. So knowing what the signals are and thinking in the future with forecasting how much money we're going to need at a certain point in time is a way that you can prepare yourself for tight cash flow times. But we have to think about it and forecast it and look in the future to know that it's coming. Another thing, if you're already in business and you're having cash flow problems, part of what's going on is maybe people aren't paying you the way that they're supposed to. And I'll say to you as brand new entrepreneurs, you are not a bank. You cannot expect to act like a bank and loan people money, or that is, you sell them stuff and they don't pay you. In reality, what you're doing is loaning them your personal funds to use up. So if you've got people that owe you money in past due receivables, just say, I got to do something about this, and start doing it. Make a plan to collect the money that you need. Big deal. And there's no putting that off or procrastinating. You need to move on it right now. Another problem that will help you get out of cash flow issues is you need to monitor your money every day. Now, we talked about bookkeeping a couple of nights ago, about how each day we need to have a general knowledge of how much money is coming in and going out. And if we got negative cash flow, how long can it go out at this amount and us stay in business? So that gets back to monitoring our cash flow every day. And that is a what? A bookkeeping function. Yeah, I'm not talking about you running your books and doing all the accounts and knowing all about QuickBooks. But I am saying that you need to know how your books are running and watching that cash flow, knowing where your money's coming from and where it's going out to, monitoring day to day. Cash flow problems for entrepreneurs are almost always related to not having enough cash reserve or a cushion or a savings account or a piggy bank or a credit line to help you in tight times. And as you get up and going in your business and you start needing available cash from time to time, that's going to be a must that you learn to keep a cash cushion or a place to go find that cash when you need it. Excuse me. Cash flow problems lots of times are caused by folks who have just too much inventory. They've taken their money and put it in inventory that they hope to sell someday, because you can't sell from an empty basket, I know that. But having unnecessary inventory that has used up your cash reserve is a dangerous thing to do. And sometimes we just have to liquidate some old inventory to get some cash building back. And those folks that just cannot imagine liquidating something that you purchased a while back, even if you're going to have to take a loss on it, some folks just can't say, okay, let's do it. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes you just have to do it. And the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost you. You need to get that inventory that's not moving, turn it into cash, invest that cash in the inventory that will move, that will turn. It's called turnovers. So too much inventory gets you in big trouble in a big hurry. Okay, we're working really hard. I'm a really good carpenter. I'm a really good builder, or a really good painter, or a really good accountant, a really good cook. I can do a lot of stuff, but I can't do a lot of stuff and keep my own books up, because that's just something I can put off and put off and put off. And lots of you will do that. So I've got to encourage you right now to try to pace yourself, and at least once a week, clear your desk off, pay your bills, check your bank account, make your deposits. I like to make my deposits every day if you can, but at least make sure you're not getting behind on your bills and your check writing to stay organized with your books. Good old COVID cough, excuse me again. If you don't have employees, they're going to take money from you every week. You got to pay them. Then you got to pay their benefits. It is a cash flow must. So with employees, you've got to have income to cover their costs. And if the very first time you don't pay checks the day you're supposed to, you're in trouble. People will talk about you, hey, I didn't know he wasn't able to write our checks today, he must be in trouble. That is a big problem. If you tell the folks they're going to come and work for you, you don't pay them, you need to have their money ready for them. And you need to break your back, do what you got to do to avoid, being late on cash payments to your employees. That will put a new company under so fast, and employees will leave you so quickly if they can't depend on that money being there on Friday, or that check you're giving them. You don't need to be handing an employee a check and say, hey, please wait till Tuesday to put this in the bank. Because what that is saying is, I'm handing you a bad check. I'm handing you a worthless check. And you just can't keep a business running doing that. So manage what you're doing with your employees. Don't pay overtime if you don't have to. Limit their hours so you don't have to write bad checks or waste money. And make sure you're getting benefit from the money that you're paying. Employee management has a lot to do with cash flow management. So keep that in mind and try to stay on top of it. We're in the big time right now that I can tell you exactly, because it's Christmas season is here, that seasonal changes can cause terrific cash flow problems with a lot of companies. My business, other than teaching, is selling implements that go behind tractors. And on the internet at carverequipment.com. And I want to invite you to visit there so you can see what my website's all about. But everything is seasonal, except bread and milk and bacon, of course, and maybe eggs. So if you're in the business of selling products and services that are seasonal, you have really got to be ready for season changes, because you can go from wide open busy to not a drop coming out of the spigot. And when that business doesn't come in and it just cuts off like a spigot cuts off, you know what cuts off too? Cash flow. So forecasting is a big deal. And if you're just getting started in business, one of the main things I want you to talk to me and or another advisor about, or the Small Business Center, is how are the seasons going to affect my business? Daniel and Pam, how are the seasons going to affect your business? And are you going to have products and services that you can offer to customers that they'll keep buying from you all through the year? Because I'll assure you the bills are going to come in all through the year. That's why we need to plan those profit centers so that seasonal changes don't really hurt us. I'm not doing this to scare you, and I'm definitely going to say to you, all of these are always happening all the time and always have been. I'm not throwing these out at you as if you're going to face them and nobody else has, because everybody has faced them. And the critical piece of sustainability here for you is don't panic. Don't panic. Don't think you're spinning your wheels, even though maybe that's exactly what you're doing for a few seconds, because it's just going to happen. And I'm trying to give you the forewarning to know that it is, and you don't need to panic. What you do need to do is just calm down. Just calm down, know that we have addressed all these. You know that they're out there. And let's create a plan. Let's create a plan how we're going to deal with this mess. Because it is tough. It can be a miracle or it can be a mess. But if you got a plan, you can work through it, I assure you. And that plan will always be, consider what options you have. Consider the options. And now I'm going to move into, let's talk about that. What are maybe some of the options to help you recognize and work through the red flag stuff? In cash flow, which is usually the biggest red flag, there's three different considerations. There's old money, and we need a plan for that. There's current money. We need a plan for that. And what are we going to do in the future about money coming in? So we've moved right now into an area of big time forecasting, right? And I hope this really helps you. So let it sink in, okay? Old money, let's go out and collect some past due receivables, just like we talked about. Let's go get that money that people owe us. And old money, let's encourage people to go ahead and make advance payments or early payments on their orders. There's nothing wrong with getting an advance payment, a portion or all of it, on orders that you're taking in or that you're working on right now. Nothing wrong with it at all. I'm selling some products now that the customers will not get into January and February of 2024, and they're paying me $7,000 to $15,000 in advance right now. People got to trust you to do that, don't they? Give you their money, especially if they're all the way across the country and never met you. But that's a good example that even with internet sales, If you got good character and steadfastness and a reputation that you are determined to do business the right way, and a history to prove it, people will pay you in advance and let you use their money without paying them interest until the equipment comes in. So I know you can do it because I do it on a regular basis. If you've got some old money out there and the people tell you, I'm broke now, I don't have any money, then I want you to say to them, well, what have you got that you can give me I can sell and make money? Let's barter. You got a boat over here, you got a trailer, that's not keeping you alive. But I need your money to keep my business alive, so what can you trade to help me get my money? Be tough. Ask that question. And when you are serious about collecting money, guess what? You'll be able to collect money. Yeah, if you've dealt with the right people and you're not dealing with crooks. Because people want to help you. They're not happy that they can't pay you. But they may have some stuff out there that you can sell, a camper or a boat or an extra car or a pickup or a rifle or something that you can carry to the pawn shop or to put on Marketplace on Facebook and sell that sucker and get your money back. Take it serious. Don't let old money get older, because every day that you don't collect an old account, your chances to collect it are going down to zero. One of the best ways to help old money get rolling again is to go to your raving fan customers. Go to people that have trusted you and done business with you and are always doing business with you, and say to them, look, I need some business. I need some help. Is there something you're thinking about buying we can go ahead and do a deal on? I'll give you an extra good deal, but I need to do some business. Or can you help me find some customers or recommend some folks to me? Don't be ashamed to let people know you're hungry and that your new business needs some help. It's not that you're getting ready to go out of business, but you're on top of it. And the sheer fact that you're on top of it is a positive thing with customers. And your raving fan customers that have done business with you in the past or helping you get your business started you'll be amazed at how much help they can give you. And when it comes to the old money, like all these others that we're going to talk about, you need to be positive and you need to keep smiling, because that enthusiasm about making your business work and staying in business and doing things the right way, that has to come through all the time. So a summary, got you a summary sheet here that when you look at the video, you want to stop it, this will be easy for you. Let's talk about current money now. What is the current money issues, things that are going on today and tomorrow and next week? First of all, the money you've got, if you're having cash flow issues, you need to pinch every penny that you can. And everybody would always say that, and so I had to put it here, number one. You don't want to waste any money if it's really tight. You have to stay on top of it. And as you're doing new business, get paid now. Don't let the old problems keep multiplying, so change your ways so that problem doesn't multiply, and when you sell something, get paid for it. Don't pretend to be a banker, and with credit cards and people going to the bank and you can get paid. You can get paid if the customer is willing to do it. So it's up to you, though, to set your terms on how that works. Again, take advance deposits and payments on new businesses you're going. You'll automatically help your cash flow by doing that. And let's now go create some credit lines. Let's create a place that I can have a cushion in the future so I can do better forecasting and better planning. And yeah, I know now that in a few months, in a certain seasons of the year, I don't have a negative cash flow, so I don't need to have a place to borrow or to draw from my savings account to see it through the tight times. The very minute that you move into that thinking, and I'd like for that to be this very minute that you do that, we're also going to put a caveat in there that I am also going to start looking for all the new profit centers that I can add, so I will not have to use those credit lines, but when I do, they'll be there for me. Number 5, maybe you just need an investor. Maybe you need someone to put some money into your business to give you that reserve, to help you take advantage of some deals, to be able to take cash discounts from your suppliers. Maybe you're worrying yourself to death and you need someone to kind of help you that understands the business. So you might want to actually talk about, let's get an investor, someone to be a partner, someone to invest in the business, someone to be a counselor, maybe a silent partner such as that. So that's something to think about. Something to think about. All of us want to be the boss, there's no doubt. And on 51% of our business, no doubt about that. But there's nothing at all wrong with finding other people that will invest money in your business so that you don't have to raise your personal debt. That's a right big deal as well, and to help you see future responsibilities. Evaluate your profit centers. That's why that business plan and that bookkeeping is so important to you. Having profit centers is, yeah, we're going to do that, but having profit centers that produce us the cash flow and the margins that we need above our cost are critical, and you have to know what they're doing and how many of each thing you need to sell to end up with the money that you need. Okay? Evaluate your profit centers. Create and promote customer loyalty plans. Current money with the people you're doing business with now, and you're bringing in new customers, figure out ways to help be them more loyal, to encourage them to come back, let's do some business. Put some incentives there that will encourage them to do more business with you now. Loyalty programs is all about having upsells too, because your loyal customers will indeed take advantage of upsell opportunities that you're offering in your business. And that's really important that you have those for cash flow purposes. We talked in week 3 and week 4 about the look and the hook, because marketing and advertising is expensive, and it's an investment that we need to make to get a return on investment. When things are tight and cash flows are tight, lots of times that's when people stop spending money on advertising. And you know what? That is the exact time when you ought to start spending your money on advertising to create more business. But here's the rest of the story. If you're spending money to advertise and market your products, and you are not using the look and hook factors, you're probably going to waste 99% of that money, and I don't want you to do that. But when you're using look and hook, that is making sure what you're putting out there is worth looking at and will hold somebody's attention long enough to read it, and you've got a hook in there, and the hook is the call to action. That is, you've got text and content in your ad that's going to encourage the customer to call you right now. Let's do business today. That's the hook. And when you have those two factors with a termination date on the offer that you're making, or the sell time, you'll be able to monitor whether or not that ad is working for you. Yeah. And because of that termination date, this sale ends on December 28th. If that's the case, on December 28th, you'll be able to look back at the orders that you've got in on that particular product, and especially if you give them a discount coupon code, the people that use the discount coupon, you'll be able to tell if that particular ad created sales for you. That's exactly right. And does it work? Heck yeah, it works. Everybody that's successful in business, big time, like the box stores and folks like that, look and hook advertising is the key to not wasting so much money. So don't waste your advertising money, but do make the investment. And with the current money, like everything else, we need to always be positive and keep smiling. It's a serious subject, but we need to keep smiling and be positive about it. Here's a summary sheet on that for your records. Future money. Let's lay down the road and do some forecasting as very best we can. No, I don't have a crystal ball, and you may or may not, but I don't have one. But I tell you what I do have. I've got 64 years of experience to draw on. a lot of mistakes made, a lot of right things made, and that experience helps me every day. If you don't have that experience, what do? You pay attention right now. Pay attention right now and talk with folks who do. One, look into the future, get outside the box. The future is not in the box that we're living in today. The future is out there. Things are changing. People are changing. People are dying. People are being born. Folks are moving. Products are coming and going. Change is going on. And as hard as it is to keep up with, if we don't have a little bit going on thinking outside the box, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble about what are you going to be doing next time. One of the best ways to get out of the box, and I think we've got people right here on board with us tonight that have been to our webinars for several years actually, is to come to these webinars that I put on, and all my competitors out here in the webinar business. They will help you get out of the box. I certainly try to. Get out of the box. That is to say, don't be so stuck in your ways that you can't appreciate what new profit centers you can bring in or new things that we might be able to do. Think outside of the box. Attend these webinars. Get a good trade publication and stay on top of what's new and changing. Set aside and dedicate time to brainstorm with trusted, intelligent, business-minded friends. And one of the places, and I keep harping on this, your small business centers are there for you to go talk to these folks and brainstorm. They're smart and they got resources. And they know people that they can call up and get to help you. What's going on now is there's several key words here about brainstorming. Brainstorming don't mean go down to the club and talk with someone that can drink a lot of beer and therefore they are very smart. Brainstorming don't mean talking with someone that knows everything about all the gossip in the neighborhood. Brainstorm doesn't mean about going and talking with someone that all they want to do is carry you to a prayer meeting and pray on things. And I believe in praying, and I know it will help you finding faith and a way to get outside of your internal box. But when it comes to business, you want to find someone that's intelligent, that has an understanding of how business works. So start surrounding yourself and talking with folks, indeed, that have a business mind to them. Add profit centers for things that people need. Excuse me. Add profit centers for things that people want. The key is having both and be diversified so that indeed you can have upsells by having things that they need and things that they want. Target the low-hanging fruit niche markets. Now that's a mouthful there, isn't it? Target means looks at and gather up and make lists. The low-hanging fruit are those customers that are close to you and easy to reach, like fruit hanging down from a tree. Easy to gather in without spending a lot of money. Niche markets are that group of people that has an interest in your particular profit center, in your particular piece of equipment or product that you're selling or service. Who are the people that are most likely to buy from you? And where are they? And they become a target group for you to target your advertising and marketing information to. That way, we're not pretending to be all things to all people, but we have got to be everything to some people. And those some people that we target will become your raving fan customers. Looking down the road, this is so important for you. Saying you've got a marketing plan and you're doing a little advertising here and there, that's good news, but it won't cut it. It will not keep you out of trouble. Creating a structured marketing plan with a timetable and a budget is the way to go. The Golden Goose marketing plan that we talk about in week 3, 4, and 5, indeed will help you structure a business plan that will let you know what business is coming to you in the future, and it will keep coming. If you do, and follow the plans that we put together, that you put together for yourself, business will come to you. If you don't, it won't. Everything is wishful thinking, smoke and mirrors until it becomes structured. When it becomes structured, then positive things will start happening for you. Forgive me if I'm stepping on your toes. Forgive me if you think I'm pushing you where you don't want to go. But I'm just trying to share with you, after 15 years of working with folks exactly doing what you're doing, the key is getting serious enough to get a structure there instead of just floating down the river on an inner tube. Okay? Put the structure into it. Now, during the last 6 to 8 weeks, some of you have worked really hard on doing some business plans and getting ready to do, and now here at the end of this is why I wanted to give this series now, is to encourage you to put it all together, connect all the dots, get a structured plan so that every day when you wake up, you know what you need to be doing to make your business go forward. Establish some performance goals for yourself. You're ready to do this now. You say that I want to engage with 5 customers this week, or I want to engage with 25 or 50 customers. Whatever the numbers are, be realistic. But put some performance goals down for yourself and then start trying to make them. And you may have to adjust these up or down. But structured performance goals will help you a lot, because then you can mark your progress. See how you're coming along with it. Without it, you can't do that. And with future money, be positive and smile, just like before. And of course, I've given you a summary sheet for your records right there. Some folks are so afraid of the 3 letters IRS that they just shake and decide, I don't want to get into business if I have to, here's something else I have to deal with the IRS on. And I understand that. We hear some stories about folks that get in trouble with the IRS and they end up losing everything they've got. So I wanted to address that tonight, not to scare you, but to tell you what to think about it. What are the red flags that usually bring the revenue service involved? If you're running a business, if your business is all cash, and it would be real easy for you just to create a lot of revenue and never report it, never pay taxes on it, then there's going to be a red flag there. So if that's the type of your business, then I'm going to tell you right now, you need to be extra careful with keeping good records. If you're showing excessive losses year after year after year, but still in business, the IRS wonders, how are you staying in business? How are you funding that business if you're losing money all the time? Reasonable question, right? So be careful if you are trying to cook the books to show excessive losses so you don't have to pay any taxes. Be smart and avoid paying all the taxes you can, but do it smart. And sometimes breaking even is a real good thing, because you don't have to pay taxes on breaking even except for your franchise taxes. But indeed, it beats losing money. So sometimes you want to, if you're addressing your books in such a way as you have flexibility, get as close to breaking even as you can, but some years show a little profit. There's nothing wrong with showing a little bit of profit every now and then. Matter of fact, there's some benefits to doing that. Big time vehicle deductions can create some questions. I mean, if you go buy a Suburban now that 15 years ago cost $40,000 and today it costs $80,000, folks that want to drive large, nice, really pretty, sporty, in-tune cars are spending huge amounts of money. So when you start spending that money and you thinking you're going to use it all as a business deduction, then there's going to be some issues there. So your records are going to need to be really clear on how much of this money is being used for business and how much of it is being used for pleasure or personal. So just know that that will be an issue for you. Really excessive travel to Las Vegas and vacation destinations and such as that, and you're writing it all off as a business expense, if your number comes up, the IRS will want to talk to you about that. Home office deductions can be reasonable or they can be outrageous. If you move into the outrageous realm with what you're deducting for office expense, then you got a good reason to think that a red flag's going to go up and you don't have to do some explaining. Red flags for startup businesses, and most of us on board tonight with me are startup, maybe are a little different. So let's talk about those. The red flags that I see keeping startup businesses from moving forward is that as folks that want to own your own business, the business skills that you have acquired are non-existent or very weak. Maybe you know what the skills are, but have no idea how to really make them work for you. So I want you to have a tool belt with different skills in it: management, people, products, customer service, and hospitality. And we cover pretty much every one of these in our series. So those that have not joined one of our 12 or 14-hour courses, like starting in January, this is a place that you can really start enhancing your skills. Everyone that I see that's on board with us tonight, except for one or two, have done that. And I've already seen evidence that you're improving in your skills and have more self-confidence because of it. And therefore you need to. But folks that don't do this, they don't have a chance. That is a big red flag if they don't improve their business skills. The ability to create raving fan customers is huge. And so in week 3 and 4 and 5, when we talk about a raving fan customer, is how to create them. Because even good customers and loyal customers and great customers are not raving fan customers. And going through the process of what it takes to create those raving fan customers is a very valuable process. Do you remember what they are, the 3 things? You tell them, first of all, I'm going to do all I can to see you're 100% satisfied. You're going to be so happy you did business with us that you're going to send your friends and family to see us as well. And then after the sale, we're going to contact them and follow up and make sure they're 100% happy. And then we're going to have a magic marketing moment when we say, now, what are you planning on buying in the future? Or what do I need to have in stock? Or you know someone that I can go quote to? Getting that information from them. Raving fan customers will do that for you. Plus, they'll go out in the community all year long and brag on you and send customers to you. And when you get in a jam, they'll be the first people you get in touch with to generate new business coming on. So how to create them is very important. How to get them in your database is very important. And then how to use them is very important. So if you feel a little, just don't quite understand this, then make sure you stay with it and stay with us until you have it down pat. Big, big deal. Forecasting, as we've already talked about tonight on different subjects, is a huge skill that we need. We talked about it this past week in some of our webinars. And negotiating, basic and otherwise, is really important. Now, if any of these that I've mentioned that you'd like for me to send you a study guide on any of these skills that I've just mentioned, please just go to chat and write it in. Steve, please send me a study guide on any of these skills, or say all of them. Because I can email you all of them as easy as I can send you one. I'll be glad to do it. There'll be a lot of information for you. But then I want you to commit to, after you look them over, that when we're giving a webinar on them, you'll come and see how to apply it. Because that's what the webinars do for your study guides. The webinars that we talk about how to apply these words instead of just what the words are. A lack of focus or being out of focus. In other words, folks will be working hard to get their business up and running, but they're doing a full-time job otherwise. Or we got 2 or 3 children I'm looking after, and I'm a caretaker for my mom, and I volunteered to do this for some other people. I got a lot going on, and it's really hard for me to focus on anything. Because my distractions are big and many. At some point in time, for your business to work, you don't have to get in focus with it and get back to putting some foundation documents in place, some structure. So how do you fix being out of structure? I mean, how do you fix being out of focus and drifting? You put structure into your business life. Okay. The mere fact that you are attending here tonight from 6 to 8 or 8:30 is telling me that you want to put structure in your business planning. I congratulate you. There's a million other folks out there that don't do it. I have hundreds of friends that congratulate me all the time on giving webinars and trying to help entrepreneurs. And hundreds of my friends need to be right where you are tonight to help their businesses go forward. But they don't have time for it. You guys do. You ladies and gentlemen do. Congratulations. I love you for it. God bless you. Keep it up. Keep putting structure in it. Visiting with me and wherever else that you can find to help you get your business going. That's structure. So hang with it. Let's think long term sometimes. I know we got to think about what's happening today and next week and pay the bills that are coming due this month. But forecasting is going to say we need to think long term. We need to get out of that box and think long term and start putting things in place that's going to help us next July. What are you doing about the business that you want to be going on next July or next February? You know what? Right now is the time to be thinking about it. If you've got a structured marketing plan, you're going to be thinking 90 days ahead to 180 days ahead with structured planning on what you're planning on doing. That's tough to do your first couple of years, but I'll assure you, if you start it now and you go through a year or two, it will become easier and easier because you will have the history to base it on. And your plans will get a lot better, and you will refine them to the point that they're more effective. Man, I like to get a project started. And I can get so many projects started, it's unbelievable. We can walk around my house right here with what we got started today with plumbing and new kitchen cabinetry and walk out here to my office with some other things I've got going on. And I can show you 15 projects I've got started. Now, I do a lot of following through, but I am a lot better at starting something than I am finishing. How about you? Yeah, it's kind of like when I was a kid. Folks used to say, what do you want to do when you grow up, Steve? I said, I want to take things apart. And they would say, well, what about putting them back together? I said, no, I don't want anything to do with putting them back together because that's a problem. But I can take something apart in a heartbeat. But putting them back together sometimes can be a problem. It's the same way with business projects. We all have to work harder on following through. That's one other reason that I mentioned to you. Try to plan a week. And part of that plan is on Friday. Everything that you can wrap up that you didn't follow up with all week long, Friday morning you start working on that stuff. Try to clean up and get organized and get your thoughts back in line. It'll help you a lot. Hey, I told you earlier that we need to save all the money we can. We don't need to waste any money. We don't need to do that. But let me tell you, if you start cutting corners too much, that you end up with a three-wheeled car or a two-legged a dog or anything less than the whole. We've cut the corners off so much that there's nothing left there that resembles what it needs to. You're in trouble. And a lot of small businesses that do that, they reduce their sizes down to the point they're non-functional, or they'll never get it big enough to be functional. So be realistic about, are you cutting too many corners? Do you actually need to go first class here? Are your customers going to do business with you if you're going first class? Or are you trying to keep everything so cheap that you are cheap? Hard words, but that's reality. Carrying the weight alone, I don't have an answer for that. Probably every one of us on this board right now is starting our own businesses by ourselves. We may have some loved ones and spouses and maybe some encouragement, but most of us in this life that are doing these startup entrepreneur works, we're doing it ourselves. And it's a big deal. And carrying all the weight alone can be a big deal. So I encourage you that you don't have to carry it alone. having a mentor or an advisor that will help you and talk to you, just talking things out can help a lot. Sharing your ideas with folks that will help you bounce ideas on and off the wall, kind of throwing it up against the wall and seeing the spaghetti sticks people say from time to time. That's a help. It is. I can tell you that I find I have to charge my battery sometime, at least once a week, take a few minutes just for Steve, at least to breathe and get out, maybe ride around and listen to my books on the car. Take some time away from worrying or working on your business. I encourage you as a born-again Christian, that's a good place to go, is to go to church on Sunday mornings and sit there and just be quiet and listen to the message. Enjoy the hymns, enjoy the fellowship with other Christians. That helps me charge my battery more than anything else. As that offering plate comes past me, I'll put a little money in it, but the main thing I put in that offering plate is a whole lot of worries and troubles and say, I've got all I can handle, Lord. How about handling some of these for me? And you know what? It always works. It's always better. Wherever you find your faith, wherever you find your trust or a way to find inspiration, don't try to carry entrepreneurship on your shoulders by yourself. I have no reservations about recommending that. And some of you will find it at church, some of you will find it in other places, in music or friends or a group that you talk to. But don't try to carry it by yourself, because sometimes it can become overwhelming. And when you feel that coming on, give me a call. Send me an email. We'll talk to you anytime. Okay? I know what it is. Been there and done that. If you got employees and you can't hold on to them, there's a problem. If you got employees and they're talking bad about you or moving on, or you just can't seem to hire the right people, then you need to talk with someone that's been there and done that to get some tips and help you focus on what the issues are. And I've got lots of good information I can send you about that. You find yourself lying to your partners or even lying to yourself about how good or bad things are, and you know that you're stretching the truth, you know that you're making excuses or you're rationalizing actions, it's time to recharge. It's time to settle back and say, let's reevaluate where I am here, because I really got to be truthful with myself. And until you are, you can't put a plan together to help things out. Don't just sweep the problems under the rug. They don't get smaller under there. You just don't get to see them. But when you sweep those problems under the rug, they will always get bigger and more worrisome, or at least more numerous. So deal with them. That's getting back to Friday, taking care of all the stuff that you can. Clean up the act. Clean up the house. In cash flow, if you find that you're borrowing more, you're having to borrow more money, and you're able to pay back less because you've got an unbalanced budget, then let me share with you, you need a budget lesson. You need to budget what's going on and stay with it. The federal government doesn't need to seem to have a balanced budget, but let me assure you something, a small business operation in eastern North Carolina needs a balanced budget. And I've got a really good study guide on that, and I'll be glad to share it with you. But figure out a way to get your budget and your cash flow in order. This is all about having a business plan and a budgeting plan. Once you get to the point that you're falling behind on your taxes, that's some really red flags. And it means that your life is short-lived. If you haven't been able to plan or generate enough money to pay your taxes, then you got about 30 to 60 days to make some significant changes, if that long. So if you're facing that in your business as you're coming to it, then you go find some help. You need to talk to someone to give you some good advice on what changes need to be made right now. Having no safety net, no money reserve is a big thing, because I want you to be able to say, things are going well, I've got enough money to pay my bills this month, I'll be all right. But if next month things kind of tighten up, my plan B is, and after plan B plays out, my plan C is. In other words, have options that when the tough times come, you're ready to face them. You got some reserves. It's like a football team having a second string and a third string. That's what we want as businesses. If we get ourselves to the point that we are denying or not taking serious the threats of the financial risks that we're facing, you're in trouble. Because these risks are real. And you can't just fluff them off that things are just going to get better. Those clouds aren't going to clear up and the sun's not going to come out unless you do something different tomorrow than what we've been doing today. So don't just discount the possibility that these risks are big time. The folks that end up in those situations are usually those folks that want to do all the talking, instead of any listening. Now, I'm a fine one to say that because I talk online hours and hours each week for a living. But I'm not doing all the talking because I don't want to hear what y'all have to say or don't want to understand what's dealing with you guys. When I'm talking with my customers, I say what I have to say and then hush and encourage them to start talking, make them feel important. I need to hear what they have to say. You need to hear what your customers have to say to you for your future planning. So if you have a problem with that, work on it. Some people love to talk over other people. In other words, when we're having a conversation with some folks, I'll get into a sentence to try to share an idea. And when I get about 4 words into it, and they start talking back to me over it like they have read my mind, understand what I was going to recommend, and they have no idea, but then they start telling me what they know. That's a bad habit. I bet you know somebody that does that. And it's really hard to communicate with them or really hard to find an answer to a problem with someone that talks over you. So don't be that person. Don't be that person. And I think about Annette, and I'll use you as a good example. Annette's going to be a virtual bookkeeper for folks. And Annette knows a lot of stuff and will do a great job. However, when someone calls up Annette, it's going to be a lot of listening, hearing what they're doing, hearing them out, making notes. Then come back and ask some questions, and then come back. But just because we are a professional in one thing or another doesn't mean that we don't have to listen to our customers, because what they have on their mind may be expressed a whole lot different than the way we talk about it, but we need to give them a chance to do it. The more listening we do, the better off we're going to be as entrepreneurs in serving our customers. Someone told me that the Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. 2 ears and 1 mouth. I wonder why that was. And they are sharp or fast to say because they want us. He wanted us to do twice as much listening as we do talking. So let's try to keep that in mind. It kind of makes sense to me. Twice as much listening. As we make the mistakes, let's try to learn from them. Let's try to build some wisdom. Just don't make the mistakes and say, oh, c'est la vie, that's just the way it went. But right then, recognize it as a mistake and recognize in your own mind or make a note or put in your business plan what you need to do different to keep from making that mistake. Have a plan. Have a plan. A bad plan is better than no plan. Put it together. Have some structure to it. Get rid of old inventory that's not sellable. If you see yourself having fewer and fewer repeat customers, there's a problem. Let's find out what it is. If your business doesn't seem to be going in the direction where the best sales are, you need to reposition things. Don't wait thinking it'll get better, because those things don't get better. If your business reputation is slowly but surely sinking and stinking, that's a big problem. That means there's something wrong out there, and let's identify it and clean it up. Reputation sinking and stinking. It happens to a lot of small business, and you know what's left? What's the next thing that comes about? Gone out of business. A lot of life a lot of money, a lot of time wasted. Maybe you're just feeling like it's time to move on. This just ain't going to work. Sometimes that's the truth. We need to know when to hold them and to fold them. But I need to say to you, if you're giving up too soon because you didn't have the endurance to stay in it long enough to learn how to do it right, that could be the problem. So don't get that feeling it's time to move on if it really you're saying, I'm ready to give up. But again, Steve here will say to you, don't panic. All these negative things I've talked about tonight, and you know I usually don't talk about a lot of negatives, but this was the lesson we needed to do it. So following that up is we're not going to panic. We're going to calm down. We're going to create a plan. We're going to consider our options, and we're going to move on. So what's the best thing you can do tonight, and I can do tonight, to maintain and keep sustainability in our business? There's 8 important factors. 8 important factors, and this is getting down to the points that you make notes on and say, this is like the 10 commandments here. 1, we want a passion to keep something new and worthwhile going on. Let's be exciting and on the cutting edge. Let's face our problems head on and be willing to be dramatically different. Be willing to be dramatically different so people will see that we're making a dramatic change. Find the strength and endurance to encounter our problems and work through them, to work through setbacks and failures. That takes strength and endurance. Staying flexible and skilled so that we don't end up in the ditch. You just stay out of the ditch, and we do that by being flexible, being willing to change. Have open communications and be willing to share ideas with other people. I'm not always right. You're not always right. We need to listen to other people for good ideas. Let's try to lead, motivate, and help other people with our ultimate goal, which is the same ultimate goal as the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, is working together to find mutual helpfulness. I'm doing my best to help you guys, and I want you to help each other. And we go a long way. Look forward to the moments in time when you can see those pivotal points and then make adjustments when they're necessary. That's your 8 ways to maintain stability. Now let's talk about the mutual helpfulness thing. I had last night tomorrow I'll be giving my 1100th webinar. But after last night, as I was doing my book work and closing things up, I had 2 situations over on the chat board. And that chat board is really important to a lot of you guys, and it's really important to me, and I want you to use it more, especially in my seminars, because we have a lot of folks that are repeat visitors and members of the Academy. But last night, 2 things in the chat board actually brought some tears to my eye, because you don't really know what you're achieving as you're giving webinars, or if you're making any difference in anybody's life at all, or whatever. But one of our members, and I don't think she'll mind me mentioning, Latoya mentioned in the chat board that she was going to get baptized in 2 or 3 weeks. And that's a big deal for an adult. It was for me when I got baptized a few months ago. And since then, several others of you have mentioned that y'all have too. Latoya is getting ready to, and Tim mentioned that he had been baptized recently. And I salute you for making a change as an adult, because that indicates that you're willing to look at things different, to be born again. We born again in Christian life, and we're born again in business life as well. So thank you for sharing that, Latoya. And if I can, and you want me to, I'm going to try to be there that day. I just enjoy meeting you on the day you're born again. And so that really was great that you were willing to share that with the group in the chat board. Being willing to share is mutual helpfulness, because that lets us all know that we're in this together, and I really feel like we've got something good going on. And then Danielle, you're the one that actually brought a tear to my eye, and I do appreciate it so much, because in your chat board, as we were signing off and everybody was saying good night and goodbye and have a good week and thank you and all those, which are appreciated and always welcome, But Danielle added a sentence, and she said, "Good night, family." And as a presenter of webinars, my highest goal is to have the folks that are attending our webinars feel like there is a family experience going on, because that's the way I feel. So thank you so much, Danielle, for opening up your heart and helping me open up mine with just 2 words: good night, family. How about that? So that is mutual helpfulness. The little things that we can say to a neighbor or to a customer or to a fellow entrepreneur can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes 2 words can make the difference in a just average week and a great week. How about that? So again, thank you, ladies. Moving now to pivotal points. Pivotal points are different than red flags. And what this is, there are times in our life, personal lives, we'll talk about a little bit, and business lives, that are points that we need to be aware of. Because there are certain times, specific times, certain days or weeks, that if we recognize what's happening and we make a little switch, we make an adjustment in what we're doing, can make a world of difference for our long-term future. There's 3 different types of pivotal points. There's earning points, and that is making money. What's our earning ability? Where are we with our earning? Most of us tonight are folks that are just getting started with your business, but you've been earning money your whole life, one way or the other, but now you're thinking about how to earn money as a business person. The other type of pivotal point is a learning point. Where are we with our savvy? Where are we with our wisdom? How comfortable are we with our self-confidence and self-assurance? Are we learning what we need to learn to step forward? Those are big points and pivotal points. What are we doing on learning how to do this business? And the last type of pivotal point is a turning point. And turning points is words that are being used everywhere today. It's on the cutting edge of what's happening in people writing and giving speeches and giving sermons and such as that. But a turning point is when you actually turn, when you actually are going one way and you make an adjustment and head in another direction. So those are all very important. When to make those turns. Now, these pivotal points, and you recognize them and you make the adjustments, let me tell you, it can make you have a miracle or let you have a mess. Sometimes it is avoiding a mess and finding a miracle. But oftentimes there's scary situations because there's uncertainty there. But my friends, being ready and looking for these points as they're coming at you are so important, because if you don't see them coming, you won't make the change. Or you'll go past them before you can make a change that makes a difference. But recognizing these pivotal points can have everything to do with the growth of your investments, maybe your current employment, how much service, how much delivery that you can experience, and how much freedom that you have in the future to pursue your dreams. That's why this is so important. I really want it to soak in for you and hope that it helps you. The 3 ways that we can handle a pivotal point is we can just hold the road and endure, having the endurance to go forward. And I've used that word a lot. Stay in the path, stay in the game, and I want you to do that. But I also want you to say with this presentation that I want you to be willing to make the change. And you might say that I'll change anything and everything right now to end up with where I need to get to. Boy, that's a bold statement, isn't it? But some of us feel that way. But I really would like for us all to feel better about taking the time to study and consider how we will develop our plan with a timeline as these pivotal points will face us. That's the most responsible way we can go. Not be too conservative, not be too liberal, but find that place that we're comfortable with, that yes, this is a pivotal point and I need to make a decision, but I don't think about it, and maybe even talk about it with some folks. Earning points. At some point, every business will get stuck. Will get stuck to a point that you feel like you're making all the money that you can make with your present business plan, but you're not getting to the level of business that you want to get to. It's just dragging. And sometimes the hardest thing is for a real small startup business to become a stable, sustainable startup business. With sustainable meaning you got enough cash coming in to keep growing. Other folks are saying, I'm in business and I'm making a little bit of money, but I'm not making enough money to grow. So where are your earning points to help you see maybe what you need to change? So what can you do with one or two issues here? One, the cash flow isn't being properly managed. Maybe you have got enough money coming in to grow or to do things different, but you're not managing that business well enough. Or maybe you just don't have enough sources of revenue to grow. Which is it? When you're at the earning point to know that you're stuck, that's when you need to make some decisions. And you'll know if you're stuck after a few months, if you're not meeting your goals, if you're doing all you can, but you just can't get to a point to grow, then it's time to make some change and recognize that you've got an earning point, time to make a pivot there. What are the remedies that you can do? Well, fix the cash flow leaks if that was the problem. Increase your upsells. That is a big positive thing, and I've talked about that a lot. Remember the by the way slogan to help you grow your business. But having the courage to recognize that you need to make the change is what I'm really encouraging you to find. Learning points. What does that mean? Learning means, have you got the business skills and the savvy to understand why you're in the jam you're in? And the answer to that, realistic, is probably heck no. How could you expect me to have these points if I've never been in business before? Well, I'm the fellow, the presenter, the teacher, the counselor. I know that. I was very lucky to be born into the business and was taught how to be a business person since I was 12 years old. And I thought I was well trained. And then my dad passed away and I had to figure out how to do this all myself and found out what an ignorant kid I was. All that stuff I thought I knew, I did know it, but it didn't apply to all the stuff I needed to know to have the business skills that we need. So we will always, and me, after 63 years, will tell you I need to improve my business skills all the time because things are changing so quickly. And willing to help other people enhance theirs, not go up to the top, but at least start enhancing. Computer skills, A to Z, heck, I'm still at D. I probably need to be up about X, Y, or Z, but man, it's hard to learn all this stuff at one time. So I can't get there, but I can find virtual assistant people that are whizzes on it, and they can help me get there. So there are answers to these things for the skills that you don't have. But the learning points will tell you that, is it management skills, people skills, product knowledge, customer service skills? Let's get up on that. Let's start enhancing that. Hospitality, how to create the raving fan customers. What's this about forecasting? What's this about negotiating? I'm telling you, they're super important. And if you don't feel comfortable having a enlightened discussion about what are you doing about your negotiating skills, or what are you doing about forecasting your business needs, if you're not ready to have an enlightened discussion with me or the next person that wants to borrow some money from you or vice versa, then those skills need to be enhanced and you need to keep improving. Every day you learn more about an enhanced business skill will help you in a lot of different ways. It may open doors for you that you never dreamed would be open, and that's how those things happen. So what are the remedies about learning points? I want you to join a tribe, a very special tribe. And I'm not being selective here about race, nationality, where people live, their education that they have. But I want you to join a tribe of smart people. That's the race I'm looking for, are the smart people. And smart people have book sense, learning sense, but mostly common sense. Okay? And they know how to communicate. Next, we need to fully admit how ignorant we are, and that I have ignorance and it exists and it's real. And I do. Do you? And then now it's the positive thing that we're going to challenge our own ideas and thinking, and be willing to have other people challenge them. Let's get back to what we're talking about, is tribe of smart people. I want you to remember that high intelligence and common sense are very valuable items. High intelligence and common sense are very valuable items. You will almost never find those skills or those superlatives with people who think cheap, cheap, cheap all the time. Word of advice. They may have a lot of opinions and a lot of attitudes, but if it all boils down to being as cheap, cheap, cheap as I can be, to squeeze that dollar, the all-important dollar. I hear this term, the all-important dollar. I'm going to be cheap, cheap, cheap to keep my all-important dollars, without considering value, without considering sometimes it's a good deal to pay a little more money for something. And I need to understand how value and value added works. And you need to understand that. Otherwise, you're going to try to go into this business world thinking I need to be as cheap, cheap, cheap as I can so people pay money from me, because that's who I associate with. I'm not putting you down for that. Well, I have some good loved ones and people that think exactly that way. But now you're an entrepreneur and in business, and I'm going to tell you that your thinking needs to expand out of that box, because there is a great number of folks out there who will pay you a reasonable price and more than a competitor because you've got value, or because you're a better salesman, or because you offer more customer service. And we have to learn how to price our products, like I'll talk about tomorrow in the 2 o'clock webinar. We have to price our products high enough to give us some negotiating room with our customers, so that we're not saying take it or leave it. That's a big deal. So in your associations, join that tribe of folks who understand this, and that you can share ideas and ways to get there. Because if they don't get it, they can't help you get there. Now, I get it. And I don't tell you that we can't be all things to all people, including all those people that say cheap, cheap, cheap is the only way they can go, because they will probably not ever be a successful entrepreneur. That's my opinion, okay? And I've shared it with you. Turning points in life are the pivotal points in life that have the power to transform our future, and they are there and they are real. The turning points in life, I like to look at this slide. You're going down the interstate, or you're going down the road, and you're hauling buggy, man. We're making time. We got places to go, business to do. I am wide open. And here I'm going down, and I notice that there's a road off to the right. But even if I wanted to turn there, by the time when I get there, I'm going so fast I go past it. That's what happens with most turning points in entrepreneurs and in personal lives. We would kind of like to consider doing that, but we're in the box, we're in the groove, we're in the lane, as people like to say, and I don't want to turn. I don't want to think about turning right now. I've got a plan in front of me. Papa Steve over here is saying this is the nitty-gritty of what this webinar is all about. Knowing that turning points are coming at you. Just accept that. And be aware that they're coming at you and they're important, and be willing to recognize them. Most new folks that have never been in business before don't get this. A lot of folks that have been in business for 50 or 60 years don't get this because they've always done it the same way. Gladly, and I admit their business must be strong and right on target. Maybe they didn't want to or didn't need to have turning points. That wasn't the case with me. Turning points in life can happen with us when we graduate or we earn a degree, and now we're ready to apply it. That is, I was going this way, now I'm ready to turn and put this degree to work. Turning points in life could be that you have a marriage or a divorce. Maybe you read a book. I'll tell you that a turning point for a lot of things, for several people that I know, was the Dream Manager that we talked about in a webinar a few weeks ago. That one book was a turning point for a lot of adults. It changed their life. They've made decisions and turned. And we all know that marriages and divorces can make you turn, no doubt about that. A sermon that you might hear. So I've had some turning points in my life that were strictly dedicated because of the words of a sermon that a minister said. More than 3 or 4. Maybe you're in a job search. Maybe it's time that you want to go follow a new career. That's so important and it's so stressful. Right now I have a son-in-law that's facing that. A boss change. You're at a job that you enjoy. You've enjoyed it for years, but all of a sudden you've got a new boss and you don't like him or her, and you think you're ready to make a change. Just that fast. One day later, you've already got to thinking that I'm at a turning point. Turning points are sometimes changed because you have a life-changing moment. Maybe you have a car accident, or someone in your family faces a life-changing moment, and you're in the groove, you're in this box, and this thing happens, and maybe that change is telling you, I don't want to live the rest of my life the way I've been living it. Turning point. And if you're in business, that could affect that. If you've been a 100% happy sinner and now you're ready to be born again, that's going to change that. Life-changing events happen all the time, and I mention that to you, my friends, because sometimes those life-changing events are times that you take inventory of what's going on in your business and decide whether or not you will continue on that path. Be willing to know that turning points are important, and you don't have but a certain amount of time to deal with them. You could have a health event, maybe a heart attack or a stroke, or know somebody that did. It's close to you. Maybe you joined the military, or you plan to enlist, or maybe you just got discharged. That's a turning point. And now we'll open up this. Let's get out of the box. You know these turning points are happening in your life. It's important that we know they're happening in everyone's life. And if you recognize this, you may be seeing something happening with a neighbor or a friend or an acquaintance that you know you're ready to help open a door for them, to offer them a job, to suggest to them a path they might take, to suggest to them where they might find comfort or recharging their battery. If you know folks that are at turning points in their life, let's get back to mutual helpfulness. Let's let our candle shine. Let's let the light get out. Let the warmth be there by helping other people understand what turning points are doing to everyone. Maybe we've had a death in our family that says, I need to make a change. And out of the blue, you get some bad news. Who knows what it might be? Be ready to ask yourself, is this a turning point that Steve talked about? Wonder what I need to do about it. That's what I want you to do. Think about it. Open your mind to know that turning points are coming at you all the time. And if you have a mind open, you're out of the box to accept the fact that these are life-changing events, and we don't have but a few days to make a decision on them. I don't want you to jump too fast and make an irrational decision, or just to say, no, I like things the way they are. I'm just asking you to think about it, to see if this is time that I don't make a change. Maybe someone's retired and they're ready to start a new career. Man, I see a lot of that. That's a big turning point, no doubt. And this recently, COVID-19 put millions of entrepreneurs into turning point situations. New products coming into the market. That's what I deal with a lot. Is do I stay with these products and I'm selling a little bit of it, or I take a risk and start selling something new, invest in these products? And I don't need that overinvestment in things that aren't selling, but I have to make those decisions, because the times that I have made some of the decisions were the best turning points I've ever done in my business. When 4 years ago we added mini hay balers to our product line, they are the most important product we're selling right now, and they're doing real well. Now, I know it's just a period of time before so many dealers see old Steve-O doing great with them that they add them on and start cutting my prices and eating into my business, that product will not stay on top. Just the way it works. Ride it while you're at the front of the wave, but right now I'm already looking at what's the next best thing I can add for those new customer demands, okay? Those will help you figure out some turning points. If your business is underfunded and you can't pay your bills like you need to, big turning point. Let's decide you're tired of being behind. What do you need to do? Are you missing sales and closing contracts on a regular basis? Why? Is your closing skills not up to par? Did you not know how to forecast or prepare your proposal? There's a reason. That's a turning point if you decide I need to take this problem and turn it into a learning point and make a change. Be smart enough to make the changes. If your business or your job is just doing poorly, admit it and be willing to make the changes. It might just be say that I have enjoyed this ride, but it's time to move on. I've enjoyed this ride, but it's time to move on. My friends, I'm not going to discourage you from moving on. If you think there's a reason to move on and a better place to end up, and you've got sound judgment reckoning to do that and have had some good advice and talked about it, go for it. That's life. Might be surprised to hear me say that. I'll ask you some hard questions about where are we going and what are we looking for and what are our goals. Same thing with starting a new business plan. Let's don't leave something that's working until we have a good idea I'm going to something that's going to work better. But time to move on is okay, because a lot of you are here tonight because you've decided I'm ready to make some changes and move on to something different. Welcome. You're in the right place to explore those ideas. Welcome. You can get a GPS tool to help you with your turning points. You can get a GPS that'll show you, just like the one you use in the car. Hey, you got a turning point right up the road here. Get ready. Touch the brakes. Slow down a little bit. Get ready. A turning point's coming at you. How does that work? First of all, you need to think about, are you on the curl of the wave? Is your business development got you where you are on the front of the wave or behind the wave? When you're surfing, if you're on the front of the wave, you're making progress. But you have to ask yourself, am I on the curl of the wave, or did I move to a position that I am? Are you providing real value to your customers? Do you feel like the products that you're offering are real, sustainable, and customers need them and or want them, and I've got a good product line? If not, make changes. Are you providing the best prices and quality combination? If not, what do you need to do to change it? Are you targeting those key audiences with of the niche markets that we talked about later? If you're not targeting your customer groups for your product lines, you're missing the boat. You're drifting down the river without a plan, because a marketing plan is all about targeting certain customer groups to your profit centers and then making it work. And we got plans to help you do that. That would be a turning point for you. What does your customer really want? Are you selling and are you offering what you really want? Is what you're all about what you want? Or is what you're all about serving the customers and what they want? Man, that gets right down to the nitty-gritty, doesn't it? And I have to ask you to ask yourself that. Are you in this because of what you want and what you think's the best? Or are you considering what your customers really want and what they think's the best? Yeah, that gets right down to the nitty-gritty. And sometimes it's okay to have a mix of stuff there. But let me tell you what your customers want. So if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. They want preparation. They want the products that you're offering to be ready to serve them. They want simplicity. Nobody wants a new project. They like creativity, something that's new and exciting, and they'd like to really enjoy it and be loyal to the product and loyal to you. But that's not going to happen unless you are accessible to them. That you're a person, a human being that's willing to show yourself in a video and talk to them and take a phone call or a text message or email and talk like a human being to another human being and make them feel important. And if things go wrong and they need some help, you're going to be accountable for them to help them work through the problems. That's what customers want. And that's what we, as members of the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, need to want to do too, not only for our mutual helpfulness, but to help our customers. Accountability and accessibility. If you're selling message, take it or leave it. If so, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. I want you to change your pricing and your presentation so you have a way to work with the customer that they have a hand in what the final price is going to be. Either by the options you offer them, by the negotiations you can do, but find a way with deal closing solutions. Closing good deals don't just happen. They happen because you, the seller, put together the ingredients on the table and served it up that was most likely to end up with a good deal for the customer and for you. If you're not there, that's a turning point. Be aware of factors. Look for the signs that are saying, I need to be thinking about a turning point. It's coming at me. Think about it when you see that fellow out beside the road with the stop sign. As you see things that are happening in your business, be aware. Some of those signs are good times ahead. That's fine. Let's look for that sign all we can, but be aware. Maybe awareness factors that bring you into focus will be your first business plan. It may be your first employee. It may be your first webinar or training course that says, hey, I can make some changes here. It's going to help me. And one of the biggest changes you might be able to make is to find a mentor. I volunteer. I'd be honored to be your mentor. But I'm also going to say to you that it's good to have a mentor you can go have a cup of coffee with and sit down without a big hassle with someone that's got some cotton picking sense and not going to try to talk you out of everything because they don't know squat about squat. And oftentimes that's the people closest to us that we find a friend with. We enjoy the same football team, or we maybe kid cousins or something, but they have never been in business. They've never run their own business, don't have a clue about what a profit margin is or a profit center. We need to gravitate to folks that can help us. Maybe it's the Chamber of Commerce meetings or such as that. But I'm telling you, the easiest place and the fastest place to find folks to talk to that understand business is your small business center, because they have the contacts with hundreds of people like me that are willing to help you as well. Find the new door for fantastic opportunities. They come sometime. Look for those introductions to new individuals that might help you with turning points. Maybe there's some capital that you're going to receive to expand your business around the corner. And if that opportunity comes, are you willing to take it? Someone offers you a credit line, are you willing to use it? Or do you just want that credit line to save for a rainy day? Both situations have value. But the key thing is get that cushion. Pursue getting that credit line and holding on to it and protecting it, because one day it'll pay you a dividend. One day you're going to have an awareness factor that all the hard work that you've done is paying off in a steady stream of income. And in that very moment, you're going to realize that your little idea has turned into a real business. And I don't clap and be so happy for you. I'll feel like I was a part of your journey and be gratified in the fact that that happened. One day your dreams will become a reality, and that'll be a day to celebrate. Every day can be a day to celebrate if you see the dream starting to take shape. So I want you to have good product quality, targeted marketing, good customer relations, selling skills that you're able to sell your things, your products and your service, and understand what turns your customers on and turns them off. If you don't have any selling skills, you're probably not going to have any income. If you don't have any selling skills, deal closing skills, you're going to have a hard time in this entrepreneur world unless you hire some really good salesmen. Okay? There's always a two-sided sword here. Product mix, if it's diversified, good. If it's not, bad. Forecast the peaks and valleys in your business. Turn your radar on so that you're not going to be surprised or kneecapped when something comes along. Are we going to run a business so that we're always dealing with a storm coming at us with dark clouds full of lightning and worries? Is that the business we want? Nah. We want a business that breaks through those shadows and breaks through those worry clouds and gives us a good feeling, because when that's what we're seeing, our customers are seeing that in our eyes and our reflection, and things will be going in a better way. That's the way it'll work. Do you have that golden goose marketing plan? If you don't know what I'm talking about, send me an email. I'll send you some information, and then in January, over about a 3-week period, I'll show you how to put your own together. The golden goose marketing plan. The key here is keeping our eyes open and our brain out of the box and fine-tuned so that when a turning point is ready right down the road from us, we're ready to hit the brakes and think about it and make the turn if that's going to help us. If we're just going down the road, lickety-split, saying everything's fine, got the radio turned up, and we're passing one turning point after another, just zipping by us, that's not a good thing. Don't want you to do that. Know that turning points, learning points, earning points, and red flags, recognizing them and taking advantage of them can help us a whole lot. And indeed, they will come at a critical time that can make a change in your life and in your business. And there's going to be some bumpy roads ahead. Folks are going to try to copycat you. Sales will go up and down. Competitors will come and go. And product cycles will run in and out. So there's always turning points that's going to be coming at you. Just be willing to recognize them. Just be willing to recognize them. So remember, these turning points, learning points, and earning points may create a miracle or a mess. And oftentimes they're very scary situations. But with good thought, talking it out, you'll be all right. Because they represent opportunities for you to grow, improve your employment, offer better and more service and delivery, and enjoy a lot of freedoms in business and in life that you can't get unless you recognize these pivotal points and take advantage of them as they're here. So what are you going to do? You're going to hold to the road and just ignore them. Or I don't see this and I'm going to change everything right now because I think it's going to get better. Let's don't do that. But let's take the time to know it's here and to study it and maybe talk about it, then develop a plan that's going to help you with your timeline and the opportunities. Because when you're being the best person you can be and you're showing your goodness candles shining bright and putting out some warmth on these cold days, things are going to be better. So let me say thank you very much for this series of 5 lessons, a 10-hour course. I appreciate those of you that have attended. I appreciate especially Latoya and Annette for attending almost all of them and for being so loyal. I'd like to invite all of you to attend the webinar tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. If you can arrange that, you'll find it very interesting about how to price your products and services. And if you'll give me your email address, I'll keep you posted on what's coming up. So let me invite you to turn your mics on, give us any comments and kickback or questions that you might have. I'd certainly appreciate them very much. Hey, Sarita, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think there was a lot in the lesson that can help us all, including myself.
Yeah, it was.
Good. I'll be getting to you next week on getting the certificates for these 2 courses we're closing out this week.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Everybody else want to turn your mic on, I'd be glad to talk to you. There's Tim. He's up at his microphone. How you doing tonight, Tim? Uh-oh, he's leaving me. All right. Hey, that's Pam. How you doing, Pam?
I'm doing fine.
You got some
stuff the past couple of weeks, but I'm back in the swing now.
You got some stuff I can come and buy from you?
Not quite, but I'm getting there.
All right.
Over Thanksgiving, I made
I'm hungry. I want to buy some of that stuff.
Okay.
Pam's gonna have some good food for us to buy from her fresh farm.
Oh yeah.
All right. How about it, Tim? What you got to offer? Tim, your mic's not working. Can't hear you.
Let's try it this time. Just being available to help out small businesses, individuals, and families with legal needs. So if anybody needs legal services, just get in touch with me.
Well, you're a good man, and I'll try to send the business your way, and I appreciate you being with us and all the advice that you offer.
All right. Thank you much. Enjoy, y'all.
All right. Thank you. Hey, Jay, you gonna try that microphone again? Appreciate you hanging with us from Florida. It's mighty good to have you on board. Maybe we can talk about it. Oh boy, somebody just put us a whole lot of information in chat. That's AJ. I'll answer you tomorrow when I have a chance to read all that. And send you, it looks like you're asking for a lot of handouts and study guides, and I've got them all for you. Thank you very much. Okay, what else we got? Shirwanka? Donna, you got your microphone working?
Yeah, hello. How y'all doing tonight?
Yes, Shirwanka, I'm doing good. How's things up on the northern part of the state?
It was good. It was a good lesson. It was good.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation tonight.
I did.
Good. Thank you very much. Again, Donna, can you hear us? Can you turn your mic on?
Good evening.
There you are. Welcome. Is this your first webinar?
It is with you.
How about
I'm
that?
actually from Kinston, which is in Lenore County.
Yeah.
I usually just attend the ones at our small business center, but they had a tab that said training, and it was so many. And I've been taking 2 and 3 a day for the last week. So I really enjoyed this one, and I look forward to some more in the future. I am a vocational rehabilitation coordinator with News Enterprises. We help people with disabilities find employment, but I want to open my own nonprofit, and I want to do training because I have found that we can find people employment, but they're not able to keep it mentally. They can do the job physically, but they need some type of training to help them learn those soft skills that's going to help them to maintain long-term employment.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you for joining us tonight. Tomorrow afternoon at 2, from 2 to 4, we'll be doing the pricing webinar, and it is sponsored by by Greg over in Kinston. So we certainly appreciate you attending that. If, of course, you may be at work and can't do it. But
I think I'm registered for that.
All right. Well, that would be great. We'll be glad to talk to you again there. And good to talk to you, and hope we see you often.
Definitely.
Okay, let's see.
As she was speaking, it came to my mind that have you thought about maybe offering counseling services for them, or getting in contact with someone that offers counseling service that they could better cope with their environment?
Well, we actually do job coaching. I am a job coach, and I'm the VR coordinator. But as far as counseling, I want to incorporate that in my business, because I think that is a very important piece that we're going to need.
Yeah, I think so too. Mm-hmm.
That's great. And that's Regina talking, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, good evening to you. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing just fine. Can't complain.
That's great. I hope your dad's feeling better as well. All right. Again, we've been talking about you tonight. I want to send you some business, so you don't need to let me know when you're ready for those customers to call you, all right?
I appreciate you. I enjoyed your webinar.
Thank you very much. And Deuce Marina, Maria, is your microphone working?
It's working.
There you go. Where are you located tonight?
I'm located in New York City.
In New York City?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. All right. Well, welcome aboard. We love you darn Yankees joining our webinars down here in North Carolina. You always be welcome. How about that? And are you a New York City native, or are you coming from somewhere else?
I'm a New York City native, and as well as New Jersey and Maryland. So I rep 3 states.
Good. Well, God bless you and bless your heart, as we would say to folks down here in the South. And what type of business are you into or thinking about starting?
Thank you so much. The business I'm establishing actually is being a creator. So I'm doing a bit of influencing, doing artist designs, like for greeting cards and other things.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope that we'll see you often.
Thank you, sir. And by the way, I sent my a message with regards to again the slides.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll process this YouTube video, and email it to all of you tomorrow, the link, so you can go back and study these slides. This is a different webinar. I don't know of anyone that's doing these subjects that I'm trying to approach here, but I just think it's so important to give new folks in business the idea about pivot points coming at you all the time, and most of the time we just let them go by and never pay any attention to them. I know I did that for so many years until I became aware of getting my radar turned on and then start making changes when you need to get yourself out of the box, out of the ditch.
Right.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. God bless you. All right. Well, let me tell you, good night, and thank you for closing out this series with us. We'll look forward to having you on many, many more. All of you that attend regularly know that I try to change these presentations each time. No two presentations are exactly alike. And so if someone mentions it's something in one webinar that might help it, but next time I give it, it may have the same title, but we'll have some new and interesting information for you. Thank you all. God bless you. Hope you have a really great week and a great holiday season if I don't see you again. Good night, everyone.
Have a great night, everyone. Great week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Danielle said. Good night, family. All right.